Father Meinrad Brune will celebrate 60 years as a priest and 65 years as a monk of Saint Meinrad Archabbey. Despite being 87 years old, he is still very active in our monastic community, praying in the Archabbey Church 5 times per day and serving our community as our archivist, as well as the archivist for the Swiss American congregation. Father Meinrad grew up in Indianapolis with 2 brothers, Bob and Tom. In 1941, Tom came here to Saint Meinrad Archabbey as a lay brother and eventually was given the name Theodore.
When he was in the 8th grade, he told my mother, I don't want to be a priest, but I would like to do something to be a religious. And we had a priest at Saint Meinrad, Father English, who studied at Saint Meinrad. And he said, they have St. Placid Hall, and that's for young high school boys who are thinking about becoming a brother. I said, Tom, I think you should go to St. Placid Hall. And my mom said she never forgets, they took the streetcar downtown, and she put him on the bus. She waved to him as he went out, and she said she cried all the way home, losing her first son to the monastery.
Father Meinrad would spend a week each summer at St. Placid Hall helping his brother. He would pray and work with the oblates of St. Placid Hall and with the lay brothers in the community.
And I guess there's 2 things that happened during that period and stayed with me even when I went through high school. I came so often and I felt so at ease and comfortable and to feel that community with the different groups here on the hill, that impressed me. And secondly, I fell in love with the liturgy right away. And the liturgy was so prayerful and so beautiful. That impressed me a lot.
During his high school years in Indianapolis, Father Meinrad thought about becoming a priest, though he eventually went off to Xavier University in Cincinnati. At that time, Father Ignatius Esser was the abbot of Saint Meinrad, and early on in his undergraduate education, Father Meinrad took a vocations retreat with the Jesuits, a retreat that would ultimately change his life.
In October, the Jesuits had me make a retreat, and I did not know it was a retreat trying to interest you in becoming a Jesuit. But during that retreat, I wrote a letter to Father Abbot Ignatius asking him that next year I would like to come to Saint Meinrad and become a brother. I got an airmail special delivery letter back from Abbot Ignatius saying, "Come right now. If you wait till next year, you may not have a vocation." So I went to Father John Wenzel, a Jesuit, who I thought very highly of. He read the letter and he said, "Do you know Father Abbot Ignatius?" I said, "Yes, he's a friend of ours, and my brother is down there, Theodore, and he's been to our house for supper." And he said, "Oh, you have a brother there, so you are familiar with St. Meinrad?" And I said, "Yes." He said, "You go." So when I came, Abbot Ignatius was in Europe, but he told Father Emilian to put me in the different classes. And that was at the 1st of November. I missed 2 months of classes. And 2 of the fathers said, "What are you, some sort of genius that you could walk into our class and just pick up, And the hardest one was Father Pius' Latin class. And it was very hard. So I was very discouraged and I felt like I should leave. So I went to my brother on Sunday afternoon to visit. He said, "You are not leaving. Brunes do not give up. They stick with it to the end. So you get back there and study hard and do the best you can with that Latin." I do think he knew Father Pius and he was a good friend of Father Pius. And he must have said to him, "What are you doing to my brother? You're getting him so worked up, he's going to leave, so be kind to him." Pius came to me on Monday and said, "I want to see you after class." He said, "I'm going to take you for 3 hours a week extra to help you catch up." And that was tremendous help. but it was horrible. But I really learned Latin, and I owe a lot to Father Pies.
Father Meinrad entered the minor seminary here at Saint Meinrad, eventually becoming invested as a novice, and then becoming a frater with his simple profession, and eventually he was ordained a priest. Throughout his 65 years as a monk, Father Meinrad has served in a variety of capacities here at Saint Meinrad and away from the hill, including teaching in the high school and our college, as well as serving as pastor of 2 area parishes. He is probably most remembered, though, as the director of Benedictine Oblates, a position he held for 23 years. Since 2017, Father Meinrad has served as the archivist of our community, and that includes the holdings for the monastery itself, as well as all the records for our Benedictine congregation, the Swiss American congregation.
I myself am very happy, and I'm very grateful to the Lord for calling me to that whole period now, being a priest for 60 years this year and 65 years as a monk. I never have any regrets of becoming.